What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTubeverse? I am coming at you with a bit of a different video. This is going to be off the phone for once. I'm going to try this. I got some editing software working off my old laptop. But today is not what we're talking about. As you can tell by the pictures rolling by your screen right now, we're going to be talking about bunnies. Specifically pet bunnies, rabbits, and so on. Different from the hares and other things that you would find out in your backyard. In fact, to start off this thing, we're going to talk about some dangers of having a bunny and how things about the bunny rabbit itself can be a danger to not only itself but other animals just by it being what it is. And we're getting all the way down to the fact of like bacterias and things like that. It's very cute to put guinea pigs and bunnies together, I'd imagine, sure. But the problem with that is bunnies carry a bacteria that makes it very dangerous for guinea pigs because they can get a very bad respiratory infection from this thing. They do come from very different parts of the world, so in nature they're not near each other anyway, so it would make sense for that. It's a little known fact and something that, I would like to make more aware to people as I work at pet store. I've been working with animals for a long time, and if you're sticking to me, right here, right now, up to this minute, then you kind of invested. The other fun fact about bunnies and what's a danger to them for just being bunnies, you want to keep them away from the outdoor hares and rabbits, especially if you're in North or South America. Those things are not exactly the same creature as the bunnies you have. Very similar in every much of the way, and they eat the same stuff, and they're even the same as far as like the skull design and the type of fur that they have and everything. But for some reason, just because from different parts of the world, there's that disease and stuff. Rabbit hemorrhaging disease, or RHD, has a couple different versions, and they are both very, very brutal to the bunny. So keep your bunny indoors, and if you do have them outdoors, keep them far away as you can from other wild rabbits. Now we got past this part. 2 minutes of just some, not so good if I want a bunny, but that's okay. Because bunnies are actually very loving creatures and everything of that sort. They are very sweet and very smart. You can litter train them. You can also teach them to kind of stay in the spots that they need to. The hardest thing is getting them not to chew. It is a thing that they're going to do, so I suggest keeping all wires, keeping anything that you don't want destroyed, that little bunny teeth can destroy, up in places they cannot reach. This is also for the safety of the bunny because a live wire could be, let's just say, it's going to be fricasseed bunny, and it's not going to be a good day for anybody. And I know no one wants to come home to that. So big thing, keep all live wires up and out of a bunny's reach. But they do give you lots of love. You can spend a lot of time sitting there petting with them. They do treat you with love and respect, but you have to remember these are prey animals. It's very easy for you to want to reach down, pick them up, chase them around, and play like you would a cat or dog. But the thing is, cats and dogs are somewhat predators of themselves. They are not at the bottom of the food chain, and so they're not afraid of anything and everything coming at them. So knowing some signs about the bunny, if it's scared, or if something's going on, let me bring it down to you. So the thing is with that, they give you a couple of signs. It's not very audible. They start with what you would call a thump. And the thump is literally as it sounds, where they take those back legs and smack them down on the ground as hard as they can. The reason why they do this as their first response to a threat is because most bunnies, when they're in the wild, dig burrows. So in Europe and everything, where it's more native for these original bunnies to come from, they dig tunnels. And so if you thump on the ground, the traveling of the sound of the thump can be heard underground, whereas with the prey, that might be, or not the prey, but the predators trying to hunt the prey, sorry about that, might be coming at them. They won't know exactly what that sound is. They'll be more honed in on the bunny they're already looking at, and the bunnies that are hiding can now prepare and keep themselves safe. Because bunnies in wild, just like with what you might want with the bunny you have, they love company, either from you or another bunny. If you are thinking about doing another bunny, it's best to have one of the opposite gender and around the same age. It's also good to have both those bunnies, treated, neutered, and spayed respectively, because bunnies are bunnies. People say the term breed like bunnies because, my goodness, they can have lots and lots of babies. So the one that you're probably seeing specifically in this picture here, this is a French Lop. She has been with me for 6 years and so on. Her name is Rain. Well, was Rain. If you keep up with my shorts, the reason why it's been so hard to do this video like I planned to at Easter time is because at that very same time she started getting very sick in her 6 years old of age, and it was failure of the urinary tract, and at the same time a sinus infection came in pretty hard, so she was hit on all sides very quick. The vets and everything and people I talked with even said, like, at this point, she lived a long life for her age, you know, for a bunny. 6 years is not bad at all. So that's why this video was so hard to do. But quick thing on that, my knowledge in this and why I'm talking about this, I just want to get that clear real quick. So after that little side note right there, let's move on more to about bunnies as how they are as friends. They're very sweet. They get along with you very well. You have to be careful with them around predators and stuff, as we were getting to earlier about the thumping and stuff. Sign number 2 is that they will do something called a grunt, which is like a sound in a sense. And then in extreme cases, they can scream. If you've ever seen that old video about the hawk scooping on by and grabbing that little bunny from the field that the parents were, and their kid was just trying to rehabilitate and send back out to the wild, that is not audible trickery. That is real bunny screaming. That is the final straw, and if your bunny is doing that, comfort the bunny immediately, because they are in a state of stress. Another thing that I see a lot of people doing with buns, I would say back it off on, is when you flip them on their backs. Yeah, they get real sweet and they get real calm and they get real quiet, but on the inside their heart rate has increased to a high measure to the point where cardiac arrest is a possibility even for older bunnies. That's because, again, prey animal kind of thing. It's almost something they do, just it's like a play dead factor, you know. If you see what bunnies do, they try their best not to look like prey anymore. If they're on their back, they know that's pretty much next to end, and it's them pretty much accepting inevitability. It's a scary thing for a bunny. Same thing with sharks. If you research sharks do the same thing in a sense, where they get flipped upside down, they just kind of go derp, you know. But we're not talking about them today, we're talking about the bunnies. So those are a lot of no-nos to do with bunnies, but if you treat them well, and I keep getting back to the fact they're sweet, they're awesome, as you see with all these pictures and videos, she was a wonderful bunny. She free roamed, she ran around. My goodness, it was an absolute joy for the 5-something years I took care of her. Found her in the backyard one day, brought her in, and man, this is what she was the one who started me wanting to do all this. And it's kind of a bummer I didn't really take to it until her last years or so, you know. I have some documentation of stuff about her throughout the years and stuff here and there throughout things, but YouTube itself I never really focused much in. But this is just a short intro on a new type of video, some bunny facts part 1 I'm going to call it today. I'm going to put a question mark at the end because I do want to know if y'all like this or not, and if you do like it more, I can do some other something between 7 to 10 minutes of more facts. In fact, ask me some questions. Next thing, if you guys like this, I'll start going into bunny dieting, what's good to give them, what's important they can have, because they have very fragile ecosystems. They have very fragile stomachs and everything, and they eat a lot of vegetable matter and stuff, and then you just can't really give them certain things because they can't have gas in their system. If they get a gas bubble in their tummy, bunnies don't burp, fart, regurgitate, any of that. So what goes inside of them has to come out as bunny poop. So the bunny doo-doo is really the only way that something exits the bunny. So the diet's very important, and I'll be more than happy to go more into that on a part 2 if you also want to do so. Alright, but anyway, we got 9 minutes. Goodness gracious, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all a break, and if you like it, again, let me know.